Welcome back, Sticks and Hacks. Today we're playing the namesake of the Bandon Dunes Golf Resort, Bandon Dunes. Ranked the number 7 public course you can play by Golf Digest, the course is incredible. It was mid-October when we played, and our second 18 of the day as we played Old MacDonald in the morning. If you haven't already, go back and check out those videos as that course was also phenomenal. Sit back, relax, and get ready for some scenic views and great golf from this bucket list destination. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the trip at Bandon Dunes, including Pacific Dunes and Sheep Ranch. The first hole of Bandon Dunes is a medium-length par 4 that wraps around the resort headquarters, with the second shot being significantly uphill. A good tee shot cuts the dog leg to leave a short iron up the hill. Even playing into the wind, this hole doesn't require a driver to get into good position. First up, Trey, who smokes one into position A. Next up, against my caddy's advice, I pulled a 3-wood. I've been struggling with this 3-wood lately and it won't be in my bag much longer. My 2 shots with it tend to be either a big hook or a giant block. This time it was the big hook.
About 190.
I needed more club in. It's a good angle over there.
Oh, you went with the 3-wood.
I did change.
Next up is Miller, a 10 handicap, playing it down the left-hand side.
So how hard is it to get different caddies?
Our caddies TK and Matt have been great thus far through the trip, with lots of ribbing back and forth. Next up is Carlos, a single-digit handicapper who's smoking a driver over the right-hand corner.
Yeah,
Good swing.
good ball there, Carlos. Yeah. You all were walking around in his golf swing. That's why. Oh,
I had let TK talk me into a well-deserved breakfast ball so that I could follow his advice and start the round on the right foot. Listen to your caddy, fellas.
Great shot. TK tried to hit that, didn't he? He did. I hit the green. I was a bad boy. Good shot. Thank you.
So now after a decent tee shot, I've left myself 161 yards up the hill a good 20 feet. Par Golf tells me it's playing more like 170 yards to the hole, but I'm only trying to hit it to the front portion of the green, so I've got an 8-iron.
I think you're going to get away with it, so I think it's going to cut the wind. Yeah.
And I probably should have listened to the caddy, because that's a little short and it's going to leave me a little bit of a longer putt. After a long drive, Trey has this shot up the hill.
Oh, sweet swinging Trey.
And that's well struck, and comes up just a little bit on the short side. He'll have a putt for birdie.
Not right to you.
They're going to be a little slow, boys. They just punched them, so I can feel how furry they are on my feet when I walk on. They go right edge of it.
The short approach leaves me with a 65-footer on the first hole. Not exactly the putt you want when you're trying to figure out the pace of the greens. We did not roll any practice putts going into this round, as we only had 30 minutes or so between rounds, with the shorter days in October. Trey was not as short as he thought, and he had this putt for birdie.
Yeah.
I just got it out a little bit, Trey.
Talking like just off the edge.
There we go.
Yeah, I just got it here. I've got to hold myself. Hold it close.
I mean, if there's anything, I would go straight out. Not to give it away.
Well, a quick 5-foot tester on the first hole. Not ideal on bumpy greens, but I've been making these. And there's another one. Trey to match with his own 5-footer for par, which slides by for a disappointing bogey on the first.
I don't know if I can get this thing.
Not with that attitude, you can't.
Trey and our caddy TK had a few battles over club choices. The second hole is a long par 3 that plays uphill. We had a stiff crosswind out of the left, so I'm hugging that left-hand side with a 5-iron, expecting the wind to push it to the middle of the green. And I smoked it. Right through the wind, right up the hill, catches the tiny pot bunker on the left. Tough luck for a good swing.
What are you guys having, like a fight or what?
No.
Yeah, no, he's not happy with me.
This is against my better judgment. You want
Miller tends to play a fade, but with more room on the right-hand side, he's favoring the middle of the green here. And while he doesn't like it, that's just fine on the right-hand side. Alright, let's see if Trey has the right club after that spat with TK. That's well struck. Not sure who was right, but it's a good result. Last is Carlos, who also flares it a bit, but that's on the better side with more green to work with. The best part of Bandon is walking with buddies, shooting the breeze, being out in the elements, something about walking, caddies, 100% golf, and the scenery doesn't hurt. The walks are pretty easy with minimal hills. We had no problem walking 36 holes every single day. After finding the pot bunker on the left, I had to blast it out of the bunker from a poor lie. I'll have a long putt for par. You can see these putts coming from across the green. It's really quick coming back this way.
Get that drink back there.
Which I'll have the same putt here in just a minute. Trey with a decent look for birdie on the tough hole. Not sure who chose the club, but it was the right one. And that's an easy par.
Good three.
Distance-wise, you're still putting normally. I tell you, put that about 4 feet today. Let's get to here.
I've got 23 feet for par. Not ideal. With the greens being punched and slow, TK warns me about the potential speed, but I blow it right by. Just missing the hole, but leaving some work for bogey.
I'd say it's right there.
The greens have been tricky and they're not in the best shape that they could be. But Miller rolls one right in. This leaves my 5-footer for bogey. And that just dies off, never high enough. A quick double without any terrible shots, just a collection of mediocre ones. If you've been watching my videos, then by now you probably know that I use the Par Golf app to track my golf on the golf course. But what you probably don't know is not only am I an avid user, but I'm also the developer of the app. With automatic swing detection, it integrates seamlessly with my on-course routine, runs in the background to where I don't even know that it's there. With a quick glance, I can get a yardage from my watch or my phone, I can get caddy adjusted distances for elevation and for wind, or exact distances to that pesky bunker. The app is best when paired with an Apple Watch, but will also work with just your phone, either in your pocket or in your golf bag. The best part is the easy to digest analytics that become available after your round that will help you focus your practice and improve faster. I'm playing the best golf of my life while practicing less with a Par Golf handicap to prove it. Download it today on the Apple App Store. And now, back to your regularly scheduled content. Somehow on the third hole I only captured Trey's tee shot, but the hole's a medium length par 5 with wind coming out of the right. I had hit my tee shot hard, going over 300 yards, but pulled it a bit to the left and I'm in the rough. With just 180 yards left, I'm trying to punch a 4-iron up between the bunkers with a little bit of a cut. And that ball doesn't cut and goes straight into the bunker short of the green. After a gray sky morning at Old Mac, the sun's come out with blue skies. We really couldn't ask for better weather in October. It's a gorgeous day.
Good golf swing.
Price. He's paying for it.
This is a tough bunker shot. You have some of these oddly shaped bunkers at Bandon, and in this case, my butt is pretty much sitting on the grass face of the bunker, making it really difficult to hit the ball and miss my leg with the swing. But I get it out, and I'll have a putt for birdie.
Not a bad shot at all.
The greens at Bandon are massive. You definitely need to work on that lag putting before a trip out there. And if you have time, stop by the punch bowl to roll some putts. Not only is it a good time with the bar right there on the green, but it really prepares you for what you're about to see over the next handful of days.
Right ridge all the way down. I don't see much more than just right here.
see all of us struggling a little bit with pace this early in the round, still adjusting to the greens. So after all that, I have 27 feet for birdie with a putt that will break slightly right to left. And that's an easy but disappointing par after having just a 4-iron in for my second shot. Good putt from Carlos. Trey has a short look for birdie. That's just never high enough. Still, it's another easy par.
Easy game.
Easy game.
This takes us to the fourth hole, a medium-length par 4 where the wind has finally turned to be more or less at our backs. There's a bunker through the fairway, so you can either lay up with an iron or really try to blast one out there and cut the corner with a longer club. The fairway does get a little narrower the further you hit it, so the caddy says it's just a 4-iron to the center of the fairway.
It's gonna work though. I'm glad you didn't get all of it. I was still worried about that bump.
And a good call by TK. That's a mishit 4-iron that goes 245 into the middle of the fairway.
Oh yeah. Yep. Good ball, Miller. Got that one, boss. Nice. Oh, never mind. Did you not really? No, I got it. Let me know next time. I'll get the audio. Oh, jeez, that's smoked out there. That's great. 2-8 and 3-1. I've never seen a guy do that.
So after a long iron into the fairway, I have just 165 yards left to a green on the cliffs of the ocean. It didn't take long to get to some really scenic views and an intimidating shot when you can't see the landing area. And that's well done. You can see us all standing around like a bunch of tourists taking photos at every chance, but that's Bandon. There's eye candy everywhere. Also Bandon, long lag putts from all over the place. So after a great shot, I still have 42 feet left for birdie. Not a lot of movement on this one, but important to get the speed right. And that's an easy par. Trey's left himself this mid-range putt for par. It just misses, and that'll be a bogey. The fifth hole of Bandon Dunes is a mid-length par 4. Another straightaway hole in the Par Golf app shows a generous landing area if you're looking at the driving dispersion arcs. But hitting straight into a 16-mile-per-hour wind makes it a little tougher to not only get it on line, but get it far enough down there for a manageable second shot without hitting it into the cliffs on the left. Which is exactly what Trey does, and he may be in trouble there. Miller likes to work his left to right, so he should be able to move it away from the trouble.
Yeah, okay, good ball.
Driver wedge, we're home.
Matt's giving Miller some grief. This hole is playing long into this wind. Teeing it a little lower. I've got driver and I'm swinging away.
Yeah.
And that was smashed, but smashed only goes 235 yards into this breeze. It's a stiff wind. That leaves me just 152 yards into the hole, but still into the wind, so the Par Golf caddy says to hit 7-iron, and that it's playing more like 171. I felt the wind die down and got a little tentative that I had too much club over the ball.
That wind was down.
I need to trust the caddy there. Trey, after a drop, even taking a penalty, it's hard to get mad at these views on these coastal holes.
Good par.
Nice try.
Trade a safe par from the front of the green.
Get it.
And he races that one well by. We'll have some work to do for bogey.
Hey, at least you gave it a chance.
Yeah, I think that was orange. Now, I would like that. I think it's got straight. Not much going on. A little slow.
Miller for his lag putt. The greens are big and have some slope to them. So even when they're slow, it takes some patience to get the speed and line right. And that's a little low. Alright, so after 2 good hits into the wind, I find myself with 39 feet for what would be a great birdie. I do a better job at getting the speed right, but that's just a par.
65%.
So Trey now has this 7 to 8 footer for bogey. And again misses low. Can't buy a bucket.
Yeah.
The 6th hole is unbelievable. Right on the ocean, you can hear the waves rolling in. It's an intimidating par 3 of medium length, and that pin was tucked back and left with not much room between it and the cliffs down to the ocean.
There you go. Fly, baby. Perfect flag.
It was playing right into the wind, so the caddy tells me 160 yards is playing more like 190. I'll be hitting 5-iron. I tend to play a draw, so I need to aim this well to the right of the flag and commit to hitting it out there. And you can tell from the sound that was not a clean strike. A little heel heavy, face shut down, that ball is left and headed for trouble.
Just get front edge. Chunky.
Miller doesn't love his, but I'd trade him in a heartbeat.
Dancing.
No.
And Carlos doesn't love his either, but after seeing mine, I can't blame him for sticking to the right-hand side. Got beautiful views and cliffs, but this cliff just took a souvenir from me.
Yeah, there's my ball.
I had to take a drop, and I'll have to chip out and try to minimize the damage.
Good up, Dallas.
It's a good chip, but I got work to do for bogey even. The views on 6 are just amazing. It's great golf.
Kill it. Push those towards the ocean. Just a little bit.
Miller for his par.
You got there, Carlos. I call it left center. Okay. Yeah. Might even went left. Good tell.
Not a lot of putts dropping at this point in the round. So all right, here we go. Another 5-footer. Gonna have to get comfortable with these on the bumpy greens. And that catches a piece of the hole but slides by. Another double on a par 3 on this front 9. Ouch. I line it up again and putt for prosperity. And it's right in the middle. Probably tried to hit the first one too hard to take the bumps out of it. And paid for that with a double bogey. The 7th hole is a shorter par 4. The wind is screaming off the left, but it's a wide fairway. Really no reason you should miss this fairway. And that's just fine. You can see it's really starting to warm up as we're shedding layers and the sun is really coming out. Wide fairway, I'm smashing driver and trying to shorten up the hole to regain some lost ground after that double. Let my natural draw hold it against the wind. And that's well struck, 288 yards to the right side of the fairway. That leaves me just a 52 degree from about 86 yards. Since it's playing uphill and across the wind, I'm adding a little bit of yardage here. And that's putting. Trey, after finding the fairway, is just a short iron up the hill. And that's well hit, it'll find the green. Carlos, from a long ways away, has to go up, over, and down a large mound.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Good run. That's good.
Good putt, Los.
Let's see how Trey can do over the same mound from a little bit closer.
Go hard.
And he leaves that a little bit wanting.
A little bit up.
So after 2 good shots, this is one of the best looks at birdie I've had on the front 9 from just 14 feet. Should break a little from my left to right. And I pushed it. Trey for par from about 10 feet to avoid the 3-putt. Can't do it. Tough go for Trey from the green so far. The 8th hole is a shorter par 4, but now the wind is off the right and playing downhill. Miller smokes one into the middle of the fairway with that sweet baby fade that looks awesome against the skyline. Next up is Carlos. Sun's really poking through. It's starting to get later in the day. That sun is going down fast. Which will lead to some great views at sunset on the back 9. Trey blocks one over to the right. He'll be fine, but that does make the hole a little bit longer. I've lost a layer, so I'm down to a t-shirt in October, which is madness. With the wind off the right, I feel comfortable swinging hard, and that is crushed. 327 yards to just short of the green. But unfortunately, it runs through the fairway and gets caught up in the rough. Not an awful lie, but the rough is patchy and thick, hard to read, and very different from what I'm used to in Texas. So just 38 yards with a 56. Trying to get another look at birdie. And actually caught too much of that. Comes through the rough with no spin and it rolls well past. So now I have this 30-footer for birdie. Not a great result from as close as I was, but a birdie look nonetheless. This one should have been pretty straight, but coming off that apron, it squirted straight right. It's an awful putt, and now I've got work to do for par. Miller leaves his just low, which leaves Trey with another tester for par. That's another one that slides by. Can't buy a putt so far, despite hitting it pretty well.
See something there?
Nothing at all.
Let's do it, man.
Carlos has a tight one for birdie to open up the can for the group. And he does. Great birdie.
Bird.
Bird.
Cocktail, boys. Get the cocktail down. Man, feeling good.
Need a birdie class, you know? Come on.
And that leaves me with another 4 to 5 feet for par, scratching my way around this front 9, sitting at 4 over par. But that's well holed. On to the 9th. The 9th is a mid-length par 5, sweeping back towards the clubhouse. Another generous fairway. With the wind helping, we can really cut the corner and shorten up the hole.
The other American.
See that American flag out there, don't you?
You do know what the American flag looks
Right
like.
in the bunker.
It's not green.
Right there.
White.
Going home in 2.
The caddies are giving us a hard time. The target they want us to hit is really far to the right to your eye, and it's difficult to commit to.
Good miss.
Hitting it left is fine, but it does lengthen the hole.
Exactly where you were like. I thought you were going to bug this last tree.
I never saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're
You
perfect.
got a bouncer.
Roll fast right to the ring.
Party left. How many guys play that?
Safe at all. Oh, you're being short enough. Miller's innovative.
After seeing my buddies hit it to the left, I line up well to the right, find the American flag, and rip it.
Yeah.
Across the corner, that's a long ball at 338 yards according to Par Golf, leaving me a short iron into this par 5 green in 2. It's 183 yards, but with the tailwind, Caddy says it's playing like 150, so I've got just a 9 iron. And that wasn't the best strike, but it's on the front portion of the green, leaves a putt for eagle. There are bunkers everywhere on this hole. Carlos, after a good drive, leaves himself an awkward shot over one.
Hey, hit the shot of your life.
And Miller laid up to a tough spot, very linksy. You need to avoid these awkward bunkers at Bandon.
It's out. Yeah, that's good.
Trey actually hits this green in 2 from a long way out, running through the group in front of us. And while they weren't too happy, this is a putt for eagle.
Oh, that has opportunities.
Comes up a little short, but right on line.
Yeah, 15 inches.
Once it goes left, it goes right. I just play it left center.
Miller from off the screen.
Don't come back.
It's a good putt.
Thanks, good.
So that leaves me from 38 feet for eagle to get one of those doubles back and kickstart what's been a pretty lackluster front 9 given the conditions. But that was never on line, and now I have to work for birdie.
Alright, Billy Wayne trying to fight this break.
Carlos for back-to-back birdies. That's cash, solid into the front 9 for Carlos.
That's a birdie?
On a roll.
Trey now for his birdie from 8 feet. Brutal. I'm afraid to show this video to Trey, he might break that putter. His stroke looks good, but the tempo's just a little quick. Alright, 6 feet for my first birdie of the round to finish the front 9 at +3. Dead center.
Boys, cocktails right over there.
Good finish, and that's the front 9 of Bandon Dunes. Already some spectacular views, but you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait until the back 9 at sunset coming very soon. Like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss any more of the Bandon content.